Awesome.
That
Thank
better?
You so much. Absolutely. Go for real.
Hey, what's happening? How are you?
Every day is a blessing. The man, the myth, the legend himself. Thank you so much for joining.
I know about all that, but I'll take it.
So thank you so much for taking your time. Very much appreciate it. I know your time is very valuable. So thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. So we'll get right into it. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What led you to the amazing person that you are today?
Yeah, all right. I mean, so just kind of a normal childhood. I mean, I grew up in Cleveland, obviously, in the west side of Cleveland, and just, kind of had I guess, normal childhood. I mean, I've got a little sister. She's my best friend. Her name's Trisha. She's 5 years younger than me. So we kind of raised each other. We didn't have a father in the home. You know what I mean? It was a broken home. So it was just me and her and mom. So we, kind of figured life out on the fly together. We still do that today. But yeah, she's my bestie. And, so we kind of just moved around west side of Cleveland here and there, and ended up in Fairview Park, where I went to high school. So I went to high school in Fairview Park, and just kind of normal high school stuff. Played sports, played quarterback, and pitched on the baseball team, and played some sports, made some friends, and didn't study enough, and probably drank too much Natty Light back then. I guess that was
Natty Light.
Yeah, Natty Light, maybe Goble or so. It was a beer of choice. I mean, it was whatever was cheap. We could get 12 of them for like $2 or something. That's what we got.
The good old days where everything was cheap.
Oh, you could do everything cheap then. In the good old days, there were no cameras, there were no phones. So I mean, we did some ratchet stuff back then that'll never ever be claimed and was never recorded. So you can't say it really happened.
So you grew up in the west side of Cleveland, and do you still live there today?
Yeah, so no, I live just south of Cleveland now, in a little suburb south of Cleveland, kind of about an hour and 20 minutes north of Columbus, and about 45 minutes south of Cleveland.
Okay. Sister still lives close to you as well?
Yeah, man, she lives up in Lakewood. She just got married recently, so they live over in Lakewood, and she's in the car business as well. So we talk, text every day, and see each other when we can, and just try to be there for each other. I mean, growing up in a home where maybe family wasn't the core of everything, with just a single parent, and of course, you don't always get the attention and all the education that you think you should be getting. So family is super important to me now today. I don't put anything over that. So I stay close to my sister, and I have some nieces and nephews that are just the love of my life. I love all of them, her kids, and I have 4 actually. I have a 29-year-old son, a 21-year-old daughter who is a genius, amazing, about to graduate from college early, and then I have 2 boys that are 14 and 15. And those guys are my best buddies. We spend every weekend together. They come over, and I'm a homebody, man. I don't do anything. On the weekends, I'm with my kids, and during the week, I'm working, and kind of a loser, kind of just don't do anything, keep to myself. Small circle.
Well, spend it with family. Like you mentioned, you didn't have that growing up. So that's what me personally, I didn't have my dad around. So that's why I will always be there for my kids. So well said.
Yeah.
So you played sports, and did you go to college for sports?
No. So here, I played football 1 year, and I wish I would have played into my senior year. I played quarterback, and I was blessed with a very good arm. I mean, you know what I mean? I had, they called me the Rocket, in school, in high school. I was blessed with a very good arm, but to be honest with you, I was fragile. I got hurt a lot. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the beating and stuff like that. So I didn't play football anymore after that. I didn't play my senior year. But I did play baseball all through high school, and as a pitcher, and I enjoyed that. But, a little misguided, I guess. You probably, on your life, you can probably go back and find moments where you wish you would have had a little stronger guidance, or a role model maybe, to somebody to kind of say, no, man, stick with this, or you should do that, or don't do that. And because of that, although, I was good at baseball, I didn't take it serious. I really didn't. I was more interested in picking up chicks and getting to that natty light.
Natty Light.
That's what it was. The natty light got me. The natty light got me. No, it was really the chicks, to be honest with you. I mean, if this, yeah, but that's it. I mean, never gotten any like real big trouble or anything. Thank God. Wasn't good at school. I knew I was like not stupid, but I knew I couldn't focus. I would watch my friends study. It's funny, I would watch my friends study. They would sit down, they would study. They would open the book and they would read it and they would study and they would memorize it. And then the next day they would know it, right? And I would open a book and man, it looked like hieroglyphics. I mean, it was, I was just like, what am I doing? I mean, so I had to fake my way through it. I ended up with a 2.3 grade average. I got through high school and was like, thank God,
So you knew college was not for you, probably.
I
didn't.
I went to college for 2 years on and off, and honestly, probably got 10 credits. I mean, I literally, again, was just more interested at a young age in, in social activities. You know what I mean? I just couldn't find the substance or whatever. So, what is the word? We'll call it substance, whatever. To take it serious. But to be truthful here, and again, I know a lot of guys in the car business have this. I always knew that I could make money.
Right.
I didn't feel like I had to finish school to make money. I knew that I was going to find a way to make money. We grew up kind of like, I guess you'd say, the broke kids in the suburbs, if you know what I'm talking about. So I never wanted to be that. I always knew I was going to try to find a way to hustle and make money. And so college wasn't for me. And as a matter of fact, I started flipping cars in high school.
Really?
Yeah. By the time I was graduated, I had owned 16 cars. Everybody else had their first car that their parents gave them. They drove it all through school and college. I used to go into a magazine called the Trading Times, which I'm dating myself. You won't remember that, and nobody else will, but it was classified, and people listed their cars. And I literally, at 15 and 16, 17, obviously years old, would call the Trading Times. I'd call the people. I'd negotiate on the car with them over the phone. I would go and negotiate more in person. I would buy the car. I think I started out with, $800 I had saved up from my job at the grocery store. And I would negotiate with them. I'd take that car home. I'd clean it up. And I would list it right back in the same magazine and flip it.
What kind of money was you making?
No, back then I thought I was making, I was Rockefeller. You know what I mean? If I flipped a car and I made $500 and I could buy a nicer car now. So, you know what I mean? Like I thought I was Donald Trump. You know what I mean? I thought I was doing it, But, so flipping cars came to me very early. I mean, when I was young, I was doing it. So
you had an entrepreneurship already built into you.
Yeah. But because I knew I didn't have an option. I knew I wasn't going to be the guy, who lived in the big development of the suburbs with a corporate job and responsibility, because I knew I didn't have that kind of focus to do what it took to get there. So I kind of knew at a young age I was going to be, gunslinging it, figuring it out, you know what I mean? And making money. So, it was, but it's funny. I mean, the first car I ever sold, my mom had a car for sale and I'm 12 years old. She had a 1978 Monza, a Chevy Monza, Chevy Monza. Yes. Okay. And she puts this car in the magazine to sell, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, she says, okay, I got a guy coming over to look at the car and, whatever. Well, all of a sudden she had to leave. She had to run. Well, back then we didn't have cell phones. You didn't text somebody and cancel your appointment. You didn't Facebook message them, right? So she's like, sell the car. When he gets here, sell the car. And I'm 12, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So the guy shows up, my mom leaves, she had to run. The guy shows up, I sold the guy the car, 12 years old. I sold my mom's car, gave him the title, took the cash, and that was my first car deal.
Did he negotiate or anything?
No, I'm a kid. No, because I'm a kid. I think he probably would have felt some kind of way about it. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to say it was $1,200. And I just remember this guy peeling off $100 bills and me thinking two things. How do I slice this up and not tell mom? How do I get 100 out of this? But no, more thinking like, oh my God, I'm rich. I mean, I have $1,200 in my hand, and handed the guy the title and the keys, and off he went, man.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, that's my first sale.
12 years old. That's a lot of responsibility.
That was my first sale. I didn't have a tie on, so they couldn't cut it, back in the day. Yeah, you're 12, the tie cutting thing everybody does.
Yeah. So
that was my first car deal.
So you're 50 years old. So you've been in the car business for 38 years.
Technically, yes. That's awesome. You're right. Yes. Absolutely. Child labor laws didn't apply back then.
Absolutely not. No seat.
I was 1099. I was 1099.
So what'd you do after high school?
Yeah, man. So like I said, bounced around college here and there. Wasn't good at it. Had no interest in it. Actually, I was down in Columbus going to school at a little school called Columbus State because I couldn't get into Ohio State. And I ran out of money. My grandma was paying for my tuition and stuff down there, me living, and I'm just partying. I mean, I'm in Columbus. I'm 19 years old. There are women everywhere and keg parties every night. And we lived right on the street where all the sororities and fraternities were. I mean, it was like, there was no way I was taking a half hour out of my life to sit down and read a book when, with all that going on. So anyways, I ran out of money, and I called my grandmother and I said, I'm out of money. And she said, well, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to continue to put you up down there. So a buddy of mine who had just graduated from Ohio State was down there, and we were friends. And he said, hey man, I've been selling cars. He goes, why don't you come sell cars? Why don't you try it out? And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, he looked like he was doing fairly well, so it was at a place called Dennis Auto Point, which ironically, Shawn sells cars, if you know who he is.
Yeah.
He worked for the group for a long time. It was called something different, but so he worked at the store that was my first store back then. It was in Isuzu, Dennis Mitsubishi, Isuzu, and something else. So I went to sell cars. This was probably, 1990. Yeah, I guess 94. So really, probably 1994. So I went to sell cars, and I fell in love with it, dude. Fell in love with it.
What do you love so much about it?
So back then it was, obviously the money, right? It was a kid coming from nothing, you know what I mean? Making at which point, I thought was an endless supply of money, you know what I mean? Making, $5,000 a month, back in 1994 selling cars. So initially it was the money. But it at some point, not too far down the road, it was probably a while. It was about the money for longer than I want to admit. I think I loved the money and the rush. I mean, I did. I loved it. And so it was the rush of making a deal. It was winning. I'm super competitive. It was leading the board, being the number one guy. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to sell that guy, and just grinding that guy. Again, we're talking 90s. That's a different grind back then. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with it, so, and, it was just winning and wanting to win and beat everybody, and the money and all that stuff. And, my friends are racking up college debt. I'm buying Corvettes. You know what I mean?
100%.
Right. So it was that. When you're a kid, that's what it is. It's ego and it's pride and it's, you know what I mean? All the wrong things. So that's what it was in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. But today, but then it grew into something much different for me. I realized that, these people are buying maybe the second biggest item that they're going to buy. Most of these people aren't buying beach homes and boats, right? Most of them are buying a home and a car,
Correct.
And I started to realize that, man, this is like pretty important to these people. You know what I mean? And, man, I should take this more serious from a consumer side, not just for me in my pockets. Like, it's a big decision for these folks, and they're putting those kids in that car and driving them to school every day, and it needs to be safe. And as you get older, I know you went through it at some point in your life. You start to see things through a different filter, and so I started to, be like, man, this is real. I'm selling these people an automobile, and it's going to financially affect them. And am I servicing them in a way that is them first and me second? Because in the beginning, especially when you're young and you're all full of, proving yourself, I want to make as much as I can, right? But it very much became, how do I help this person in a way that is, transparent and beneficial for them, yet also still make myself as much as I can. Let's be honest,
Absolutely.
And so it kind of transformed for me to today, which is very much. And then you learn the lesson, Brent, of if you just do the right thing for the right reasons, the you comes. You know what I mean? You no longer, so it's like this cycle, right? In the beginning, it's how do I make as much money for me? It's selfish. It's me. And then it turns into, all right, I don't want to be a complete scumbag. How do I help them as much as I can and still make the most for me? And then you transition into another phase, which is how do I just help them the most I can? How can it be just about them? And you don't think about the me, but if you do that consistently and enough, the me benefits indirectly. And so that's when I think, being a sales trainer for you, I think that you've seen this, I'm sure 100 times, maybe went through it yourself. When you can reach the point where your intentions are pure, right? Mm-hmm. Literally thinking about the consumer more than your pocketbook. That is the only time I truly believe that you can become a great salesperson. You can be a great talker. You can be a great BSer. You can be a great follow-upper. You can do all the stuff that will equal money for you. But until you transition into, I'm putting their wants and needs in front of mine, I don't think you become great. I think it's short-term, and I think people at some point see through it, and that's not how you build a long-term business, because customers pick up on that.
Well said. And you are 100% correct. The way I took starting selling 30 cars, 20 something cars, and then I went to 40, 50, 60 is just what you mentioned, thinking more about them, becoming friends on social media and liking their comments, and just way more action and more gears to helping that person. And then they reciprocated by coming backs and referrals. Yeah. And they felt that, just like you mentioned. Yeah. And I know you mentioned a few moments ago, the rush. Mm-hmm. Describe the rush to people, because it's one of the best things in sales. Like,
right. It is, dude. It is. It's the best, man. And in a managerial situation, you get a rush you still get the rush from when you see a deal made, but now there's an additional rush. There's an additional endorphin release, which is watching the salesperson's life get better. So you watch a person get a car, and then you watch a salesperson enhance his life and his family and take pride in what he does for a living. Now there's a second endorphin rush, right? You know what I mean? So right. And that's what I'm addicted to today. But I think the rush is how I could explain it. Whatever somebody in, every walk of life, everybody's got one thing, I hope for them that they enjoy and will never give up. For some guys, it's golf. For some guys, it's, whatever your hobby is, passion. Some people it's betting, or some people it's sports, or everybody's got that thing that moves them. And what I would compare it to is, like, let's say it's golf, right? For a guy, right. To that golfer, I would compare the rush to when you are on a par 9 and you put it 4 feet from the cup, right, off the tee. That's how a car deal feels for me. When you hit the perfect golf shot. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how
the best feelings.
That's it. That's why you're coming back to the next week, and you're going to shoot 90, but that's why you're coming back, because of that perfect 9-iron that you hit 126 yards,
So when you started car sales, were you the number one person out of the gate? Did it take you some time?
Dude, I was a savage from day one. I swear to God, I'm not being arrogant. My first day in the car business, no, you're going to think I'm capping. I sold 5 cars my first day. Now,
my God.
Now that was sheer, obviously there was some luck involved, and the natural energy, and you know what I mean. So I didn't sell but I probably blanked for the next 3 days, but I was good at it from day one. I think the reason maybe that I was good at it was because I knew this is it for me, boys. I mean, if I'm not good at this, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I didn't go finish school. You know what I mean? I am not a manual labor guy. Listen,
me neither.
Listen, don't ask me to hang a picture at your house, Brett. If I come to your house, don't ask me to do anything. I mean, I'll burn the place down before I fix it.
Right?
Yeah. So, like, I knew this is it for me. You know what I mean? So I took it vigorously. Like, I'm going to succeed at this. There is, and the one thing I could tell early on was no one can stop me. I don't mean that in the arrogant way. I mean, if I just do what I'm supposed to do every day, like, nothing can hold me back from doing as well as I want. And that appealed to me, no outside forces can stop me. Yes, bad managers and all that crap, you're going to have all that. But I know if I get up every day and work hard and that I'm going to be successful. And so that was it, man. It was off and running,
Well, congratulations. 5 cars the first day
Dude.
is like unheard of.
Dude.
Most people don't sell 5 cars a day in their entire career.
Brother, I don't know if it was the managers laying me up, trying to get me pumped. I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure a little bit of it was maybe some natural ability, but I 5 cars, swear to God, first day. 3 of them, if you remember this car, Isuzu Amigos.
I do not.
There you have it.
I do not.
That's all you need to know.
Was it small, big?
That's all you need to know. It was a small Jeepish, Wrangler-ish looking. Do you remember? Oh God, what was the other things like it? It was a little SUV, but it had like kind of like a Wrangler feel to it. It was cool. I mean, it was shit, but it was cool. Yeah, I mean, it was a throwaway car probably. Didn't last 4 years, but but 3 of them, yeah. And but no, so I was always number 1 or number 2. I've always been number 1 or number 2 everywhere I went. I mean, it's in sales, but I wasn't in sales for long. I got promoted very quickly.
So before you go into management, how many cars were you selling a month?
I mean, 2025. I mean, at the store I was at, it was 150 car store. You know what I mean? It wasn't some big, and again, but back then you got to remember, dude, you're talking about walk-ins.
Yeah.
You're talking
no
about
social media, no nothing. Yellow pages. That's,
every customer that you talk to, every opportunity was an hour and a half, 2 hours, because it wasn't a quick, there was no auto trader back then. There was no phone calls. People weren't calling about a certain a car. There was no digital marketing. So it was literally drive by, or maybe they saw it in the newspaper, but they didn't call. They took the newspaper and they drove there. You know what I mean? So
I want that car.
Like caveman shit, but it was a lot of work to sell 20, 25 cars back then. Today it's not,
No.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
So you said you went into management. How long did you sell cars before management, and what position in management did you do?
Yeah, so the first position I went into was finance. I came back to Cleveland. I was working down there in Columbus. I came back to Cleveland after a while and didn't get back right in the car business right away. That's why I don't count that as like my first. I probably did a couple other things for like a year or two. Sales jobs, but didn't get back into cars. And then I was like, why am I not just doing that? Like, I'm fucking good at that, But, so then I went to work here in Cleveland at a dealership, and met some cool people, and I met a buddy named Tom, took a liking to me. He was the finance director there. So about a year there, he promoted me to finance manager. He says, dude, you're going to be an assassin. I'm going to put you in the box. And, okay. You know what I mean? And, numbers have always came very easy to me for some reason.
Me too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I was professional, he could tell that, I was going to take it serious. So promoted me into finance. That was my first job as a finance manager. And, I mean, dude, I thought I was hooked on sales. I was addicted to the finance and management side of it. You know what I mean? And back then, we were talking about the Wild West back then. This is before Reg M and Reg Z were all the regulations came with leasing and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, boy, it was the Wild West back then.
Open-ended leases.
Open-ended, not open-ended leases. Holy 60-month open-ended lease. Yeah. If you sold one of those, you took some time off. You know what I mean? The cap cost was double.
Yeah. So what happened after finance?
So left there and got into sales management at a different group. Got an opportunity to get into sales management here in Cleveland, with a really big group here, and got my first sales manager job. And again, you know, so now I know sales, I know finance, and sales management was even funner for me, even more interesting, because now you're talking about people. You know what I mean? Right. When you're a finance manager, okay, you know, you're in the box and you're a lone ranger. You're talking to the banks. You deliver 4 cars a day. You know what I mean? You know, and so there's not much people management in that, you know. And then, but sales manager now, I'm learning. I have how to motivate people, and that is that gripped me like nothing before, because, you know, being able to push somebody's buttons and motivate them, and get inside their head and find out what's important to them and how to make them better and try harder, was super appealing to me. I loved the strategy of that, and I loved taking TOs. You know what I mean? I mean, as the manager, absolutely. You know, TOs are the best, right? You know,
yes.
I mean, that's the best. You're the big bad wolf. You come over and you could just see the people are kind of shivering, and to take them down, you know what I mean, and watch them deflate and uncross their arms and sit forward instead of backwards and all this stuff, and really start to win these people over and to get them invested in this transaction. Yeah. I mean, that's the sales rush, Cliff Notes version. It's, you know what I mean? It's boom, you know, so I like that. And I stayed a sales manager for, I don't know, probably 5 years, and then got promoted to a GM, got a GM job. I was pretty young. I mean, I guess my first GM job, I was probably 32, maybe 32.
Heck
yeah. Did that and was a GM in sales manager GM there. Again, here in Cleveland, I don't know. I know you're Kentucky and some other areas down there a little, but it's a revolving door here. I mean, you work one place for 4 months and somebody calls you and you go there, and then, you know, you go there. I mean, we've all had 20 jobs here in Cleveland, it feels like. Is that normal everywhere?
Normal here as well. Yeah.
Is it?
Kentucky. Yeah, it's a revolving door, as you mentioned, where people kind of just go to different homes. You get a phone call.
Right.
It's better. Yeah. Then they move on. So absolutely.
Yeah. So I did that for a long time. But, you know, and you know, it was embarrassing to me then, because it was like, people were like, no, what do you mean you don't stay at your job? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were all, back then it was, you stayed at your job, you know, employer loyalty. You stayed there and you worked there and you know what I mean? And I'm bouncing every 6 months. I'm working at a new place. You know what I mean? So it was odd to me. I didn't feel like it was stable. But now, knowing now, that's just the car business.
It's just the car business.
Yeah.
And do you stay in contact with your salespeople in the past? Your managers?
Oh yeah. I built some great relationships, dude. You know, just the great relationships. I mean, that's the thing about car guys, Brent. Obviously, we deserve the bad rap that we get. Let's call a spade, you know. We spent what, 4 or 5 decades robbing and stealing, you know what I mean, and telling lies and misleading people. And yeah, it's here, come on in. Sure it is. Hey, didn't you just sell that one? You know what I mean? Like, you know, so we deserve it to some degree. But there are some amazing people in the car business, man. And I mean, you know, here talking to you this morning when we had a little chat, there are some super intelligent people in this industry, you know, people that, had they gone a different direction here, taken a right instead of a left here, could be running major companies, you know, could be CEOs at, you know, company, whatever, but they, for whatever reason, got in the car business, either got addicted to it and stayed in it, or, something happened. You know what I mean? They didn't graduate from college. They got a girl pregnant a little early, got married. Yeah, I mean, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's amazing how many cool people you can uncover in the car business. But yes, I've stayed in touch with a good handful of them, and it's a brotherhood to some degree. You get it. It's fraternity.
Most people know other talented individuals here in the Louisville area, so it's probably like that in every city, I'd say. So most people know you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's so funny, man. What TikTok, dude, I'm an old fat guy in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just an old car dude, And so, but what TikTok has done is it's hilarious to me to this day. I mean, like, here I don't have 1 million followers. I got 100,000. I know where I am in the grand scheme of things. I know my part, right? But even where I'm at now, it's amazing how many people know me. You know what I mean? That I've never met, and right. It still trips me out.
What made you do your first video?
Oh, dude, they were terrible, bro. They were trash. I mean, I'm talking straight trash. I'm scrolling TikTok, right? I hear about TikTok, it starts taking off, so I start scrolling, and I'm cracking up, dude. I mean, I'm addicted. You know what I mean? I mean, just, give me more TikTok. You know what I mean? I'm talking about showing up late to work because I can't get ready in time. I'm talking about driving, scrolling, watching, risking my life to watch a video. You know what I mean? I am hooked, and I'm just hooked on these people's creativity. I'm seeing these people that you would see walking down the street and, normally never think. So the guy makes a TikTok and you see how intelligent and creative he is and what his niche is, and he's got this to offer, and I was like so drawn by it, just people's creativity and everyday people, and the dances crack me up. You know what I mean? I watched did the dances, you know what I'm saying, and the challenges and all this stuff. But it was really the creativity and the humor, and that was before it was so populated with ads and, so much stuff. So it was just quite, I found myself, to be honest with you, dude, I would come home, and I do this today sometimes, come home, turn the TV on, put it on mute, and watch TikTok.
Right. A lot of people do that.
Right, dude. And so anyway, I'm like, this is funny. I'm like, this is funny. And I'm like, wait, I'm kind of funny. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think I'm kind of funny. At least people lie and tell me I am, So I'm like, I'm going to start doing them. You know what I mean? And it was literally it was more personal. It wasn't anything car business related. It was just, and then they were just dumb, right? Just stupid. And it was literally just for me. I wasn't trying to get followers. I wasn't trying to get views. It was for me because I'm stupid and I like dumb stuff sometimes, and I'm a child. So I start making them, and then so it's fine. I get some followers here and there. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. People are following me, whatever. But they're still terrible, dude. I mean, they're horrible. They're horrendous. I don't have the lip syncing thing down yet. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do it.
Either.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, I love you like a brother. You did one the other day. I'm like, I got to talk to this guy about his lip sync game, man. It was off. It was off. But it's
my wife does those, and sometimes we're learning together.
For sure.
So, yeah. She was like, I can probably do it better. I said, just post it. It's just for fun.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. But it is hard, dude, isn't it, in the beginning? Like, it's hard, And so anyway, I start seeing some car guy stuff pop up, and obviously the FYP recognizes I like car guy stuff because I start clicking it. So now it's feeding me car guy stuff, And but what I noticed was knowing everybody's doing skits, you know what I mean? Derek Bumper. Derek sells cars down in Atlanta. You know what I'm talking about, or not? He's a black dude with the dreads.
I do not.
Okay, super cool dude. I would see him pop up back then, and Straight Russian out in Maryland, Dimitri would pop up, and they were all doing like skits, and I knew, I was like, people like raw content. I'm like, people like reality. I mean, you remember reality shows, right? I mean,
do.
right? It's that, still today, because people like to look, they like to peek into other people's lives. It is what it is, good or bad,
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so I'm like, man, and how everybody's got this, like, what do you call it? Like, everybody's got this impression of our business, the car business, that it's like a wizard behind the curtain thing. What's the real cost? And where's the real invoice and the ceiling? And what did they really give you for the trade? And what's the real interest rate? There's like this impression out there that there's all this like secretive stuff that goes on, right? That only car guys know. And there is, okay?
Yeah.
There are some tweaks and things, but nowadays, there's nothing you can't find on Google now. So if you get ripped off today, it's your fault. Okay. But, so anyways, I'm like, I wonder if people would like to see real content, car content, like not a script, you know what I mean? Not a skit, not a voiceover, car deals. So at this point, I was at the Mitsubishi store. That my cousin was a majority owner. I had a small stake in it. I was a managing partner. So, but I worked the desk because I'm a junkie. I got to work the deals, So I no matter, I don't care what my position is. I'm working the deals, So, so I started pushing record. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna sit this phone down, and I'm just gonna record for like an hour and see what happens, And so I started doing that, and I'd go home and I'd chop it up and edit it or whatever, and I started posting. And up till then, maybe one video I did got 10,000 views or something, So I start posting these like little snippets of me at the desk, and they're getting like 30,000 views, 40,000 views, 50, and I'm like, I'm on to something. You know what I mean? People like this, Of course, the comments were terrible. People were so mean. People are so rude.
I agree 100%.
It's so sad. But anyways, so I do one, and I would post whatever happened. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to make myself look good. I'm not going to make myself look cool. I'm going to post what happens at a sales desk at a car dealership, right? Which we all know can either be very complimentary, or it can be not. It can shine a different light on you, So I remember I posted a video. This kid, one of my sales guys comes up to me, and I happen to be recording, and my sales guy comes up to me. Great kid. His name's Kyle. He still messages me today, and he's asking for vacation. He said something about vacation. What happens when you go to the sales desk during business hours and then you're working 5 deals and a guy comes up and starts talking about vacation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's probably like the last day of the month or something, of course, too. You know what I mean? So I tear this kid's head off, right? But I end it nicely, and I really love that kid. You know what I mean? It came off as very condescending, very snipey, very... I don't know, like bitter manager yelling at a little sales guy. I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good look. Goes viral. I mean, by viral, by a million views is considered viral, so I get 1 million views and I'm like, what the hell is happening? What is going on? My inbox, I clear it. It's back to 99. Clear it, back to 99. I shares, all this stuff. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? And I was like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. So I stuck with it. And I was like, this is what people want. And I just kept posting real content. And I think, in that first year, I think I went viral like 9 times, over 1 million views in a short amount of time. And I know people get 20 million and 30 million, and I know that. But we're in a niche industry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to get 1 million people on a niche product or subject is pretty cool, And that's it, dude. So I stuck with it and kept posting real content and got through got over the hate hump. Where you have to realize, look, that guy, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let it hurt your feelings. And Who knows what that guy's got going on that day. His wife left him, so leaves me a mean comment. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? So you don't let it bother you anymore. I'm numb to it. But and that was it. And I just stuck with it, and it grew. And I remember I'm driving my kids home one day, and they're like, "Dad, do you know that you're kind of TikTok famous?" And I go, "We talk TikTok." They're like, and I think I had 40,000 followers. You know what I mean? And like, "No, Dad, like that's a lot." And I'm like, "It is?" You know what I mean? And because the people that I had seen and clicked on, they'd have 1 million or 500,000, and they're like, "No, Dad, like 50,000, 40 is like, that's a lot." Like, and I'm like, "Really?" And they were right. I mean, it was like when I started looking at people, most people have what, 600 followers?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Most people don't have that many followers. Yeah, 50,000 is amazing. 100,000 is better, but yeah, 50,000, you're doing it.
I mean, think about the work that it's taken you to get to 23,000.
Yeah.
Has it been a lot of work?
It's been a lot of work. When I first started making videos, I feel like I'm extremely talented, and the views didn't really show that. And then,
Yep.
All of a sudden it just picks up because you keep doing action, and then you're just like getting more, like you said, the 99. When you look at in every 5 minutes, it says 99, 99.
Yeah.
It's a very good feeling.
Yeah.
The hate comments, at first they bug you.
Yeah.
It was like, goodness, why are these people saying all of this? And
Right.
then, like you mentioned, they just kind of become numb.
Right.
Because I know who I am. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But at first you're like, oh my goodness, why are they saying that?
How could you say that? Yeah. Well, and I remember, that I would respond to them a lot in a snipey way. You know what I mean? Dude, listen, you're not gonna out verbalize me. You know what I mean? I mean, like, same for you. You're not gonna. I win. Stop. You know what I mean? Like, you might be able to beat me up physically, but if we're just gonna cut each other up, I win. You know what I mean? Like, and so I would answer them and whatever, and it started to dawn on me that most of these people are doing it because they just want to see if they can get a comment back from you because it helps their likes and shares. If you comment back on them, you know what I'm saying? It increases their engagement. And now that's when you start to be like, F you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not commenting. I know it, but it took me a while to figure that out, that's what people were doing. Was they were trying to get noticed by having somebody with a large follower base, comment back. So now I only respond positively. You know what I mean? I'm not getting in any arguments with Joe Blow, who sold cars in 1984 and couldn't make it and tells me I'm a scumbag. Okay, buddy. Okay, Joe.
I always say, thank you for your support. I wish you the best.
I did that for a while too. I did that for a while too. I've said something that I was pretty proud of though. That I was like, oh, dude, that guy must. Dude, listen, I have chased some people off TikTok. I'm embarrassed to say. Like, there's people that have made comments, and I've commented back, and the comment must have been so effective that I'll get people, my followers will message me and go, dude, that guy got off TikTok. Now, what's going to happen for you if it hasn't happened already? Tell me if this has happened for you. You start getting an army that sticks up for you. Have you had that happen yet?
Yes.
Isn't that the coolest thing on the planet?
They don't know us. They just know us by the videos, and never talk to them in person.
Yeah,
like we're doing right now. But yeah, they stick up for you, and they like have your back, and it's amazing.
It's awesome. I'm like I don't have to respond. They got you. See ya. It's amazing. Yeah.
So does TikTok pay you any money? Do you make money off TikTok?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you got the creator fund, the beta creator fund or creativity program. Mm-hmm. And in order to make money off of a video, it's got to be a minute long, and you get paid that way, off of there. So yeah, I definitely now, and if you haven't crossed this path yet, certainly I'll show it to you, or you might already be onto it. But the real money is in affiliate marketing. That's where the money's at. When you get partners, brand partners, companies that pay you to post, and you get a commission. You know what I mean? Every time you generate a lead for them or a sale. So yeah, but yeah, I get paid when I post for sure. So I make money from it for sure. It's there's been months where it's been like, really? Like seriously? I made that much money off of making videos, but now I'm not to the point where it's consistently like that. There's guys, our guy Russ, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
he's to the point, where I believe he's consistently making high level income.
Yeah, we had him on a couple of days ago, and he said he makes on average 17 to 25 every single month now.
I take a lot of pride in Russ because I was the first one to notice him. He started making videos, and here, good looking kid, younger, appeals to millennials, like we talked. So, and he had something, you know what I mean? He had something, and it was genuine transparency, and he was very genuine. And I know that's what appeals to people when they feel like they really know you. So I was watching him. I kept my eye on him, and then I messaged him one night, and I was like, hey man, love your stuff, keep it up. By the way, how many cars you sell? And that just turned into a friendship, and we've talked twice today already. I feel like a little bit of a mentor to him in the car business part of it, not so much what he's done on TikTok. He has figured it out, found his groove, found his lane, and that's all him. But we talk about the car business quite a bit. He's a very talented kid with a very bright future. And that was the first thing I said. Somebody said something about him and on a comment, and I always stick up for my dudes. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody comments on your stuff after this and I see it, they're getting it. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, they're getting it, period. And so somebody said something, and I shot back like, dude, this dude's the next superstar of the car business. Watch how you talk to him. You know what I mean? And that just sprouted a friendship that, like I said, we talked twice today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What other good friends do you have in the car business? Any big influencers that you help out with, mentor kind of?
No, I mean, so Derek Bumper down in Atlanta, he's Derek Sells Cars. He had over 100K. He got banned off TikTok. He had to start over. You would know him if he had, but he's rebuilding his following. But his name's Derek Bumper. Derek Sells Cars. He was the first one that showed me about affiliate marketing, so I'm grateful to him. Okay. I talked to Saxon Reinhardt here and there. Talked to Dimitri, the straight Russian. He's got a couple 100,000 followers. I don't reach out to them. And normally I'm like, I know how busy I am at just in work and answering messages and TikTok. I'm not going to be I'm not going to overwhelm your inbox. You know what I mean? If we vibe and it, reach out to me, I'll get back to you. But dude, you probably see already, bro, how hard is it to get back to everybody?
I don't want to say impossible, but it's extreme because it's hard to filter them all because you get so many that just keep reaching out. Some people just do it one time. Some people do it multiple times, but it's extremely challenging just to go through. Like I sent a message to Saxon, who you just mentioned, and it took him probably 3 days, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm sorry, man, but I get so many messages, so
it's crazy.
Yeah, I talked to him for about 30 minutes last night, and he's going to be on here next week, most likely.
So what a sweet guy. What a sweet guy. Yeah. Good guy.
And he's like 45 minutes, 50 minutes away from me. So he's actually going to come do it in person. So
nice. That's awesome. Oh, I'm jealous. I wish I could meet him in person. Yeah, he's a good kid, man. So, but go ahead. But as far as making money yes, there's money on there. But listen, it's like anything else, dude. It's a grind. You got to be at it for a minute, and you got to be consistent. And if you think you're going to post a video and retire tomorrow, you're mistaken. I mean, it is consistency and relevancy and understanding the algorithm and not going over because they'll boot you. I mean, they will straight just boot you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you gotta play that game. But it's great that there's an avenue today. And again, I know you're younger than me, but I know you get this, that people can make a living making videos. I mean, there are people making millions of dollars a year, Brent, making videos on their cell phone.
Crazy.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It just lets you know it's possible, So like when I got in sales, so many people were making money selling over the phone, and it just let me know that it was possible. And that's what kept pushing me, because I seen these people doing it. Some people get envious and jealous, and that kind of puts them on the bad path. It just lets me know it's possible.
Right.
So that's very good. So
Yeah.
a very important question. What advice would you give new people in the car business, or people that's been in the car business that they're not doing that good, that they want to increase their numbers? What advice would you give them, because you have done all aspects of the car business?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Yeah. So very simple. Two things. For the guy who, the first one getting into the car business, stay away from the coffee crew. Stay away from the crybaby crew. In every car dealership, you know as well as I do, there is a group of 3 or 4 dudes that go over in the corner and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and talk about how bad management is and how they should be in charge, and the owner's stealing from them, and the service department didn't get his car done, and customers are a-hole, whatever, you know what I mean? And they're not advertising right. And it is so easy to get sucked into that crew, man. I mean, because, they're usually veterans, right? So, you think you're in the good crowd, you know what I mean? They know the business, and they can taint a young guy so quick, man. And that is, I make videos about that. Guys, stay away from the crybaby crew. There's going to be a crew of guys that are going to try to put their claws in you and suck you in. And I hate to say this, that there's humans that think like this, but it is because they do not want you to succeed, because it is a direct reflection on their lack of success. If you succeed, if you go in there and do everything right and crush it and listen to management and make money and hustle and grind, what does that say about them? So they are gonna, with bad intentions, try to pull you in, and I believe that. Stay away from the crybaby crew. That would be the first thing. As far as a guy who wants to go to the next level, man, if you're not utilizing social, you are absolutely costing you and your family money. If you are not posting 3 or 4 times a day, I don't care if it's a shitty post. I don't care if it's grainy with raindrops on the lens and you trip and fall, and I don't care. A post. Get yourself out there. Just got these new cars off the truck. Just wanted to share. Just sold this car to so-and-so, here, say hi, so-and-so. Listen, I know it looks corny. I think people think that they're going to look corny, and that's why they don't do it. I think that's most people. They're afraid, right? That's got to be it. They think they're going to look corny or desperate or something.
Yeah.
But today, posting on social, even making it a small part of your business model, is like it's like in the old days as a salesperson, like however you prospected then back in the old days, where it was knocking on doors or opening up the phone book or whatever. It's essential. I mean, it's not something I might do, or dude, it's essential. It's part of, it's like breathing. It's like,
and it's free.
Oh, by the way, yeah. Oh, by the way, God forbid you put a little bit of money away and you invest $250 a month into some paid ads. Pick your platform. God forbid you invest a little bit. I am do those, and there's a couple guys here in Cleveland that have worked for me that we social, a couple paid ads here and there, and they got their own website and whatever, and they would I had a guy in the last 6 months of 22. Now I get it was 22. Okay, I get it, but guy sold 60 cars a month off nothing but one social platform, starts with an F. No leads, no store leads, didn't take a phone call, didn't take it up. That's all he did. 55, 60 cars a month for the last 6 months.
Stud.
Now, work.
Absolutely.
You woke up to 25 credit apps every morning, and 23 of them, Brent, had a 426 credit score. But one of them had a 595 with a paid auto.
Right.
And 1,000 down.
There you go.
And one of them.
So you're saying there's a chance.
You know what I mean? And we worked that one to the bone, buddy. No, but so That's it. It's so easy. And I don't even talk about it anymore, dude, because they won't do it. I've shown people, a handful of people, I have given them the blueprint. If you do this, 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 and this, I guarantee you, with my own money, I will guarantee you that you will sell 30 cars a month. And they start doing it, and you know how car guys are, man. If it don't work in the first, 4 minutes, oh, that doesn't work. I'm not doing that. Car dealers and car salespeople. But that's it. Do it and just start doing it and stick with it. It's social, social, social. Assuming you're doing all the other right things. Being transparent, working hard, following up, showing up to work, assuming everything else is in place.
Yeah.
So, what about you, dudes? I hear real quick. The sales training thing to me, it would be hard for me to get out of the rush, out of the dealership, and do what you're doing. How are you managing that? Because I know I can tell you're like me. You love the rush. You love the deal. You love the dealership.
Absolutely.
I would feel like an NFL athlete who retired and then all of a sudden had to do knitting. You know what I mean? How do you feed that?
So to start with, when I first started, it was very just discouraging because, like I mentioned, I wasn't getting views. People didn't know me except for local people in this area that just know my name. So I mentioned when we talked this morning where I got a text message and the guy finally got to 20 cars a month.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for right at a year, and he's never broke that. And I gave him all kinds of different advice, tips, how to handle internet leads. No one was working the service department, so I told him to go put a whiteboard in the service lounge. He's got a few deals from that.
Nice.
And getting that text message saying that, he finally cracked, he sold 21 cars. And it was the best feeling in the world because when I was helping run the Ford store, there was 9 salespeople on average, and seeing them get better each and every day by doing daily training and seeing their numbers go up. It's just like you mentioned, when you went into being a manager, it was so just rewarding. And that's where I am now in my life. I've accomplished a lot in the sales aspect, numbers wise, me personally. And now it's me about giving back. So that's what gives me a rush now. It brings a huge smile to my face reading that text message. And I got a call later today where I helped somebody do insurance sales. And this person now is making about $20,000 every single month just selling insurance.
Great.
And I'm coming up with a script for somebody else later today on insurance, somebody completely different.
Nice.
So giving more back. And it's making me, it's just very fulfilling. So,
Isn't it a great place to be? When you reach that where, you know what I mean? I would have never imagined in my youth that my biggest reward would be somebody else's success, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You and I both coming from nothing, let's call it, from talking to you, I would have never thought that someone else's success would be my favorite accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Watching other people succeed. And, it's crazy. You get to a point in our lives, and what are you about? You're 40? 40. Dude, you're so lucky right now that beard isn't coming in gray.
It's a little bit gray.
No. Listen, be honest with me. Don't even lie to me for 1 second, because I'll know if you're lying. As good of a salesperson as you are, I'm going to know. Do you use Just for Men?
No, I do not use Just for Men.
Say it again.
I do not use Just for Men.
Use something similar? Use something similar?
I don't use nothing.
You don't do anything?
No, nothing.
All right,
I take a shower, wash it.
I believe you.
Good,
I believe you.
That's it.
I believe you. Okay.
What makes you ask that question?
About you, about the rush and stuff like that. Well, because about the beard,
Yeah,
about the beard, because I've thought about using it. That's why, because because it's coming in gray, and I don't really care. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm 50. I'm gonna look a certain way. We ain't gonna look the way we used to. We're not gonna. It is what it is. It's a circle of life. But I've been thinking about it. I was like, man, do a lot of guys use that stuff? You know what I mean? Because I would see guys close to my age, okay, and their beard is brown still, and I'm like, that dude's using something. I don't believe that's real. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that that's real. Yeah, but you're blessed. You're just one of the blessed guys. You know what I mean? But
well, you know what? When I'm 50, like you, I'm probably going to be gray because it's a good big gray.
Is it starting to come in a little bit? Yeah.
It's starting to come in more. And,
yeah.
I'll keep the gray. I'm cool with the gray.
I am too. And I guess, it's funny because we're always looking for, especially when we're young, we're always looking for an angle to be better at sales, right? What's going to give me an advantage, in the sales avenue, right? And what I have found is being 50 is the biggest cheat code that you could ever want, that you could ever hope. People just... And more. Dude, listen to me. You probably at 40, you probably already are starting to see it from millennials and Gen Zs. There is a natural trust factor because you're older. And I think older people less often have bad intentions because we've been through some stuff and we've maybe accomplished some things. So we don't need, you know what I mean? Like, so it's the biggest cheat code ever, I mean, that people are kind of like, I had one kid, this is like a week ago. And when this happens, as a salesperson, it's like hitting a home run, but as a person, it's fulfilling. But so we're sitting there, so I take a TO for one of my sales guys, and so the customer, he's a young dude, probably, I don't know, 27, 28 years old, you know what I mean? He's like, hey, sir, of course, sir. Yeah, and he's like, hey, sir, can you come out here for a second? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking the guy's going to show me something on the car, and that's fine, whatever, we're going to work it out, He looks at me and goes, can I ask you something? I said, of course you can ask me anything. You know what I mean? He goes, am I making a good decision? Should I do this? Should I buy this car? You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there thinking, dude, I mean, like, the lesser version of me, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You start to think, like that's what you pray for in a sales situation, that you earn that much trust with the customer that they genuinely ask you your true opinion. You know what I mean? But it was because I'm 50. It was because I have gray in my beard that he felt he could have a real conversation
trust you
and trust me. And I told him the honest to God truth. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think this is the car. I think you should have stayed with the Mazda. That's my honest opinion. I'll sell you what you want. You're the customer. He was looking at a Charger, a Dodge Charger, and a Mazda a CX-5, an SUV. For, two different cars. I get it. Well, one was him being young and one was him thinking maybe it's time to grow up, And I said, honestly, I'm giving my honest opinion. I think you should buy the Mazda. And
what did you go with?
The Charger.
Okay.
He bought the Charger.
More for insurance.
He bought the Charger. Yeah.
The 27-year-old appealed to him. He's like, I'm going to get a sports car.
I'm not. He's like, I'm 27, not 47. I'm getting the Charger. And I was like, okay, but I gave him my honest opinion. He didn't take it. But it dawned on me that, it's literally because when you get a little bit of years under you, I think people just have a natural instinct to kind of believe that, you're not out to hurt anybody. It's just about trying to be a good person. And none of us are saints, and we all have pasts, and we all probably on a daily basis do things that we wish we wouldn't have done. But for me, and you're going to understand this as a father, it is about legacy. And what I mean by that, I tell salespeople this all the time that I work with, or even coworkers or guys, whatever. I picture it like this. Yes, we're car salesmen. And look, there's attorneys and us, and we're down at the bottom of the sea, and I get it, okay? But for me, I know this. One day I'm not going to be here. You know what I mean? One day I'm going to be gone, and that could be tomorrow, could be in 30 years. It is what it is. But somebody one day is going to meet my kid, one of my kids, and they're going to come across and they're going to go, Payne, is that Payne? Did you know, Shawn, did you know Shawn? And my son's going to say that was my dad. And that moment in time, Brent, is how I live my life according to what's going to happen in that moment in time. What I mean is my son, who's, personal belief in himself and what kind of man he is and, who he is and what he came from, is about to get a message from somebody who knew me while I was on the planet. And what's that guy going to say? That is the most important thing I think that you can think of when you're making decisions, in sales when dealing with people or just in general. And my hope is that I've done enough good things. God, I hope that guy says, you know what, your dad was a good dude. That was a good dude. That's it. And that moment right there, if you start to live your life based on what's going to happen in that moment when your kid meets someone who knew you and he's about to get a third party, impression of who you really were, because your kids know, they only know what you showed them and you were a dad and you know what I mean? But when they meet somebody who knew the real you, what's that person going to say? And I just want them to look at my kid and say, your dad was a good dude, man. That was a good guy. He was honest, or maybe it's hardworking or, funny. I don't care, whatever it is. That's it. And that's at the forefront of my mind 24/7.
Well said.
You get it?
So
as a dad?
Absolutely. The kids only see one perspective of our life, and it's the perspective that we want to show them. So that's absolutely, you want them to say you're a good man. That's what I'll say to a lot of people. So your dad was a good man. So absolutely. So
yeah.
I can definitely respect that.
Yeah.
And if more people thought long-term like that, the world would be a better place, and they would not make some decisions. They'd make better decisions. So absolutely.
Comes with age, it sucks, man. You got to get old and crinkly before you get any kind of smart,
It's just like, when you were young, when I was young, most people, they would always say their family members, other people older, they were like, if I were your age, I would keep playing sports in high school, or I would keep doing this. And you choose your own path, and then you look back later, I wish I would have listened to that person, so.
You imagine?
The rocket, I remember.
But imagine, you could probably identify 3 pieces of advice that you were told in your life that had you just followed those 3, your life would be drastically different today, and you wouldn't have gone through some of the, things we go through because of youth and stubbornness,
Absolutely.
So what's the future? What's the future for Love All? What should we look for?
So what we should look for me, great question, is the sales training program will go live next month. It's a virtual training program. It'll be how to sell over the phone for insurance people, telemarketing. It's going to be car salespeople from the intro all the way to them leaving, what you do after they leave, following up, like we talked about, how think about the customer more. Part of it's going to be RVs. Part of it's going to be solar cells, everything relating to sales. I believe that we live in a very, how should I put this? There's not a lot of phenomenal salespeople out there. People don't invest in themselves. People don't do as much as what I used to do to make yourself better. And you hit the ground running. You've learned a lot from your experience. So many people, just like we talked about, you tell them to use social media. I don't like getting in front of the camera. I'll do this. I don't like doing that. So I was talking to somebody the other day on my TikTok live, and I said, you need to make, if you're in the car business, at least 800, 900 or 1,000 calls a month. And they were like, no, you don't. And I was like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
When I was running the Ford dealership, and all of my salespeople will contest to this, if you didn't make 800 calls, for the most part, you're not going to work there.
Yeah.
I just believe killing it with massive action. Everybody, every single day, had to make at least 2 social media shows or videos or FB marketplace. So you have to kill it with action. I would work 14, 15 hours a day, and a lot of my salespeople seen that, and they knew that I would outwork most people, and that rubbed off on them, and they started working more hours. And by taking so much action, that's what I've been doing with this new company. That's what I've been doing with the podcast, is just taking action. I would have never got you on the phone if I never asked. Going out there, putting yourself out there, and, you have to take action. It's not just going to come to you. That's the way I was trained. And thank goodness I reached out to you. You were amazing. Shared so much knowledge. And one thing that you talked about when I was working out this morning, we were FaceTiming each other. You mentioned you had the luxury of owning a dealership.
Mm-hmm.
What was that feeling like? Starting from just sales, starting at 12 years old, selling a car, all the way to owning a dealership. How was that feeling?
Yeah, so it's I'll be honest. It's a little bit of be careful what you wish for. And what I mean by that is, and again, my family member, my cousin, was majority owner. He was kind enough. I had equity in it. You know what I mean? I had earned it. You know what I mean? So I was an owner. But day to day, the decision maker every day on the. But at the end, so I wasn't an owner by myself, but we had partners. But regardless, it's still an owner, and I understand where you're going with it. So it's a little bit of be careful what you wish for. And I say that because, yes, especially when we're salespeople, or managers. Oh, I want my own dealership, or I want this and I want this. And somehow that's the holy grail. You know what I mean? And I get it, right? I understand that. Because it signifies success and hard work and all the things. And you think you're going to be generationally rich and wealthy, just because you own a car dealership, which is absolutely not even close to the truth.
No.
Actually, you can be generationally bankrupt if you make some bad moves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but be careful what you wish for in the sense of this. If you love selling cars and the day-to-day and the grind, whether it's being a salesperson, being a finance manager, being a desk manager, being a floor closer, whatever it is, if you love that and that is what burns into your belly, being an owner is going to take from that. And it's going to shed lights on different things in the dealership that happen. You're going to see them in different ways. It's going to become much more calculated and business filtered. You're going to look at people in a little bit of a different way, because at the end of the day, you look at a statement, right? And everything that happens goes to that statement. Everything that goes on in the car dealership can be reflected in a line item on a statement, period, end of story. And that includes people. So as an owner, you a little bit have to distance yourself from some people, because some people will try to take advantage of you if you're the owner, right? You've got legal reasons that you need to distance yourself, certainly. You know what I mean? And now people and everything else is like just it's hard not to start looking at everything as an expense. And that stinks. That stinks.
Changed completely.
Dude, you put on a different lens and you start to see everything is now an expense. You watch a salesperson go to lunch, right? When you're a sales manager, you're like, go to lunch, dude. I don't give a shit. Pick me something up. You know what I mean? As an owner, you're like, been gone a little long. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm telling you, and as a business owner with what you have now, you'll see that if you haven't already. Everything is an expense. And to some degree that stinks, because you can very quickly lose the magic that made you a great leader. Because being an owner isn't a leader, right? And being a manager isn't a leader. I don't want to be a manager. I want to be an owner for financial reasons, right? But what I really want to be is a leader. That's me. I want to be a leader. And it takes from that a little bit. Yes, you're still a leader, but you don't look at people the same way, or not even people, just anything. And what happens is, a lot of dealers, let's call it advertising. Let's call it love all. Brent pitches me on how he can help my dealership sell cars, which, by the way, I believe 100% you could, okay? I believe that in my heart after talking to you.
Thank you.
However, I'm the owner, okay? And I have partners. And there's a statement. And that partner wants XYZ return on his money or his investment or whatever it is he's put into the company, okay? And first quarter, second quarter, I fall short of that, right? Now, this is an investor or a partner or whatever, and we're just a little short. We're just not there. And here comes Brent. And he's got a great service, and he's got it works. You know what I'm saying? But I'm right now, I'm not able to give my partners the return that they want. You have a fiduciary responsibility to think about, do I spend any more dollars? I'm already not returning the investment that my partners want. You legally have a legal fiduciary responsibility to think of them. I love Brent. I think this guy could help. I can't do it right now, right?
Right.
That and so you pass on Brent right? And then Brent goes on and he gets in that 5 dealerships around you and they all start crushing and selling and you're doing a great job. And, maybe I get back to profitability and everybody's happy again. And I call you and you say, dude, I can't take you. And that's what happens. And people don't realize, so that would be the negative of being an owner is I believe that it sort of taints your ability to have a growth mindset and a culture mindset sometimes. The pluses of being an owner, you can sell it, you can exit, you can make a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Certainly you can be introduced to a whole new business method and circle of friends. There's a lot of great things about being a car dealer, and the good ones find a way not to let the bad side overtake them, and they stay in a leadership role. And those, right, I think, are the ones that are uber successful. So you have the ability to hit awesome heights if you can be that owner, the guy that keeps that growth leader mindset, right? First and foremost, investors and ROI second. I think those are the dealers that hit home runs. I think those are the guys that retire generationally wealthy. That's my opinion. Yeah.
And I noticed there is a Michael Jordan poster in the back. Are you a sports fan?
Come on. I mean, first of all, hold on. Well, you got MJ there, right? You got MJ. Well, that's the go for real thing you can't really see. But hold on, here. I got MJ, I got Tiger, and you got
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. I mean, all GOATs, by the way, all GOATs.
So I'm surprised from Cleveland you don't have LeBron up.
Listen, he's great. We're not having this conversation. We're not having it, dude.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan.
There's no conversation to be had. You know what I mean? There just isn't. I don't understand. God, does that bug you as much as it bugs me? That conversation bothers me so badly. But I get it. You know what I mean? He is today's Jordan. They don't know MJ. They didn't watch Game 6 in Utah. You know what I mean? They didn't watch him get beat up by Detroit all those years and then win 6 rings. So today all they know is LeBron. And that brings up a good point. We talk about being a GOAT, you know what I mean? So, there's a lot of guys use that word, right? GOAT, whatever. But I equate everything to sports and definitely sales and the car business and being a GOAT. My definition of a GOAT is different. First of all, you and I, in a sales situation, we both take the same customer. Everything being even, you know what I mean? I firmly believe in my heart, I'm going to close better than you. Now hear me out. That's just what I believe. Mm-hmm. I do think you would. I think it's close. I'll be fair. That voice, right. The voice is an unfair advantage. I don't know if you developed it or if it's natural, but you need to bottle that shit and sell it. The voice and the southern twang is a killer. But
I developed it.
Okay, good for you. I love it, dude. It's stop. It's sick. You need to figure out a way to bottle that. But but GOAT to me is. But my point is this. That's fine. Any of us can become great salespeople and put up big individual numbers, like you said. Anybody. Yeah. You work hard, whether it's on talent and ability or work ethic or both or whatever. My definition of a GOAT is different than I think most people, especially the kids today. I'm the GOAT. I think GOAT status is, yes, you have individual accomplishments and you get to the super, you win the ring. You know what I mean? You get to the mountaintop. But my definition of the GOAT is, do you make everybody around you better? Because that's GOAT stuff to me. Tracy McGrady. Remember Tracy McGrady?
Very, very well remember him.
Maybe one of the most physically talented guys to ever maybe play in the NBA. I'm talking just physical talent, you know what I mean, and ability. Never won shit. You know what I mean? That's not GOAT. You know what I mean? That's you're a great player. You're a great individual player. To me, it's GOAT status is reached when, yes, you obviously accomplish it on your own, but when you figure out how to bring everybody else around you up, that's greatness. And so that's my name. Yeah, that's why I picked GOAT for my name, because I believe in my heart that I'm that guy that can do that and that wants to do that, and I think you have that in you too. But I hate this GOAT. I hate these kids. Oh, I'm the GOAT, dude. You sold 3 cars. I mean, like, stop it. You know what I mean? Like, you hear. Or how about this, Brent? You probably see this in the sales training side, and I don't mean to ramble, but how many guys think they're the GOAT because they started selling cars during COVID?
So many people. I was talking to a gentleman, Cody Houchin, sells Hondas.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's what you need to talk about, as well as all of these people that started selling cars thinking they were amazing.
Oh.
No one had cars, so they didn't negotiate. They didn't do anything. There's no sales finesse. There's no nothing.
Order taking.
Order takers. I was about to say that. And that's why he was like, that's why you need to truly keep pushing this as hard as you can, because more people now need you than ever. And that's, now me and him are super close. So
no, that's a true statement, Brent. I mean, guys like you are more necessary that are making sales training their passion, more necessary than ever, because we have all these guys that came up in COVID and chip shortage, and they think they're the GOAT, or they think they're good, or they think they're studs. Bro, that wasn't the car business, boys. You know what I mean? That was order taking and taking, in an industry taking advantage of a supply and demand situation where if you just woke up in the morning and opened your doors, you were going to sell cars.
Absolutely.
But now, welcome to the car business, boys. Because now it's hustle.
People are getting out of it.
Right? Oh, do they are? Because the easy part's over. Now what do they want to go sell solar? I get it. Okay, great. You know what I mean? But so don't talk to me about GOAT until you've done it in a real market, in a real industry setting with competitors, that are doing whatever they got to do to make deals. And people aren't trading the car in now $5,000 back a book, are they? No, they want KBB trade now. And your manager don't want to give it to them. So, this is it. So there's this so funny. I see all these guys, they think they're so, and look, I love it. I was arrogant when I was a kid. I get it. You know what I mean? But a lot of these guys are in for it's a big reality smack. And I think you're right. People are, some guys, they're getting out.
Yeah. So when I hit 30 is when I kind of lost my arrogance. Probably 30, 31. Like I used to be like, all kids.
Yeah.
Like I know everything. I'm the best.
For sure.
And once I hit 30, I became a very extremely humble individual, and there's no more you ask a coach what helped you win the championship. He's always a great coach. He's always going to say the players,
always.
So he'll never accept the responsibility. A great one, they'll never do that. So
I agree.
That's what you just mentioned. So you gotta, I'm only here because of my players. I know how to push them.
Right.
But I'm only here because of them.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you are, what you're doing is essential, honestly, to helping sales professionals, especially automotive industry related, sustain success. And that's what I want for these kids that came into COVID and did good and made money. What I really want to see them do is continue to do that. But I don't think a lot of them understand the work that's going to be involved in order to sustain it, because it just came so easy to them. It's not their fault. It just came easy.
Right timing.
Yeah, and good for you. You know what I mean? I'm happy, but if you want to maintain it, it's the things that you're teaching. It's hustle, it's grind, it's just, it's the real car business. So I'm excited to see how many stick around.
Awesome. What advice would you give to managers? Because I know you've done all aspects again.
Yeah.
So what makes a great manager?
Number one thing I tell my managers when I hire or I train a sales manager, the most important job you have right now is to get to know those people and get inside.
Salespersons or customers?
No, they're the sales. You're the people in your employ that trust you on a daily basis to feed their family, help them feed their family. Get to know those guys. And it's funny because they don't understand that. They think, well, I think it's to make gross and pencil deals and this and that. Listen, stop. It's all going to come down the road, big guy. Right now, get to know every single one of them on a personal level. And the reason I say that is because, from a management standpoint, there's a personal and a manager, but from a manager standpoint, if I know that Brent hypothetically, got in a fight with his old lady last night, and they're mad and they're fighting, and they're not, she's, whatever. You got that going on. If I know that about you, my chances of motivating you today are greatly increased knowing what's going on in your life. I may motivate you by pulling you aside and having a conversation. Bro, how's it going at home? What happened? Is everything okay? You know what I mean? And just kind of talking you through it and maybe giving you some advice. Or I may know that today's not the day to motivate you. Today's the day I walk up and go, hey, buddy, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you get out of here? Why don't you go spend time with your family today?
Well,
let's say, we know a guy is, car guys are great. They make all kinds of money and spend every single penny. Let's say a guy's short on money. Yeah, he's going through, he's not getting, whatever happened, life happens. Let's say he's getting short on money. If I know that about him from a personal relationship, how do I motivate that guy today? Today, he's money motivated. So today it's, let's do a spiff. Brett, 3 cars today, nickel, go get them. Are you motivated that day?
absolutely.
100%, right? Now, what if you had a big month and you're flush with cash, right? And you're kind of taking, it's one of those, I'm going to take a couple weeks, I'll just show up every day. I'm not going to try too hard. All my bills are paid. That happens in our business.
Right.
How do I motivate you that day? What about pride? Hey, dude, you going to let fucking Joe Schmo beat you this month? Oh, you're a one-hit wonder, huh? I got you, buddy. All right, have a good time off. You know what I mean? Maybe I get in your head and I motivate you with pride. But I can't do any of that if I don't get to know you and what works and what buttons need to be pushed or when not to push a button. Maybe that's even more important. If a guy's having a bad day or whatever, he's bummed out, something's going on in his life, who knows, life happens. For me to sit there at the sales table, dude, get back there and go do this, and you need to go do this and try harder. Dude, that guy might just not have the gas for that day. And I need to know that.
Absolutely.
So as a new manager, get to know your people. Very, very simple for me. All the other stuff you can learn, but that and what happens, I think, Brent, and I don't mean to ramble. I know I ramble a lot. I get excited about sales and dealership and people, but but what happens when you do that indirectly, again, when you invest like that in people and they realize it's genuine, you can move mountains. You got 5 or 6 guys behind you that believe that you love them and care about them. You can break bricks, move mountains, sell 500 cars. I mean, if you get a staff of guys and girls behind you that have seen you invest in them and know it's real, it's got to be real, nothing you can't accomplish.
And then they're loyal. They don't leave. They will do anything and everything you ever ask them to do. So absolutely.
I got guys right now that I haven't seen in 5 years. If I called them right now and said, stand up, run through a brick wall and call me when you're done, I know they would. And I know then there's guys that I know I would do it for. And when you can develop that kind of personal responsibility to each other and a genuine caring for each other and respect, dude, Joey Diaz, right? You like Joey Diaz?
Who's that?
The guy, he's friends with Rogan and all those guys, the Italian guy, he's kind of a bigger guy.
I thought you were talking about car guy. Okay.
No,
yes.
you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. His one video I love. He goes, people think you need to, have an army to make change. He goes, give me 3 motherfuckers. Give me 3 loyal motherfuckers, and I could take over a country. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the thing, but that would be it, man. Connect with people, get inside of them, be vulnerable to them, and let them see it's genuine. And then I don't think anything can stop you.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 100%.
And I get excited, dude. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's been amazing. I've learned so much from this hour and a half, and it hasn't felt like it's been an hour and a half.
Oh, shit, dude. I'm sorry. An hour and a half, really? Holy cow. Jesus.
Any other tips, advice for sales, not just car sales, anything? Or
like I said, stay away from the crybaby crew. Stay away from the crybaby crew. Run with the winners. Use social every chance you can. Treat people great. Just treat people great, dude. You know what I mean? Treat people great. If you do that, the money will come. I promise you. Put their needs in front of yours. So basically, be a good human. How about that? Be a good human.
Be a good man.
Be a good human, and think about your legacy. What are they going to say when they meet your kid? I mean, if you live it like that, I think that equals sales success. Now, add to that mix, Brent, gas on the fire, sales training, taking it seriously, perfecting your craft. Now you're talking, you know what I mean? Now you can really, can make a dent in the universe. You know what I mean? So
one question, because you made a post, I know Russ did it and you did it, where somebody was like, there's no way they're making $100,000. And I watched
stupid.
y'all's both videos. What do you think an average salesperson makes? Just an average person?
I think the average salesperson, matter of fact, I know that it's because I study things. I'm a little bit of a data freak, so I try to know the ins and outs and the numbers of our industry. It's about $55,000 a year. Average.
Above average, what do they make?
I mean, a good salesperson, a good $150,000, $150,000. I think here in Cleveland, now different markets are different, you know what I mean? But here in Cleveland, I must know 15 guys that make $150,000. And I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? Now these are guys, these are real people and girls, a couple of them girls, they try, they work, they do the right things. But yeah, dude, are you kidding me? You make $100,000 in the car business is, assuming you're at a dealership, where they got enough cars and the managers know what they're doing. I mean, there's some variables, you know what I mean? But $100,000 is not, I mean, listen, if you're not making you do something else.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
because way too much time to make less than that.
Yeah, because the hours are, and I mean that like really, because the hours and the stress are not worth it for less than $100,000. They're not worth it. Go do something else and make 80. You know what I mean? Right. And have a little more life and less stress, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's not worth it unless it's 100. Your return on investment isn't worth less than 100.
Well said.
Yeah,
I've seen the video and it just popped in my head, and I was like, I want to talk about that as well.
Yeah,
so, absolutely.
What was your biggest year?
In selling over the phone or car business?
Car business. Yeah, it's car business. I mean,
car business, it was right at just shy of $500,000. Best month ever was $46,000 on average, and I was selling again 50, 60 cars a month.
Yep.
So I would say when I was selling about 40, it was probably about $30,000, right around, roughly speaking.
Right.
And it took me years to build that book of business.
Yep.
Meaning loyal people that kept coming back. That was selling Volkswagens. As you know, Volkswagens are not everywhere.
Right.
So that's more of a sell versus some brands. So it took us probably 2 years. I was probably making about 19,000 for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it just took off because people coming back, leases, social media catching up.
Yeah.
And it took me about 2 years. And then once I did that, it just flourished. And it got more and more and more. And I was like, my goodness.
Yeah.
So good times.
Right. From rags to riches, huh? Look at you.
Absolutely. It was good times.
That's good.
I went out to dinner last night with several of those people that helped me at the Volkswagen dealership.
Yeah.
Once a month, we do a $100 tip dinner that we all go out and everybody tips $100.
Oh, that's cool.
So I believe in giving more back. And you know what? Some of the best people I know, most generous people that I know are from the car business.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned that we get a bad rap, but so many people give way more generous than the average person.
Oh yeah, and it's a little bit of that gift and the curse, because we know we can make it again.
Absolutely. I remember a story. I went to a gentleman came into town, very close friends. So we all kinds of people from the car business at the Volkswagen dealership went to a casino. It's called Indiana Southern Casino, what have you. And I lost like $4,000, $5,000. And you know what? That next day, and I was a salesperson at this time, the next day I went in there and absolutely crushed it.
Went ham.
Cars,
yeah.
And I was ready to roll.
Yeah, for sure. Get out of my way. That's my customer. That's my customer. That's my customer. Yeah. I get it.
So good times.
For sure.
Do you want to end it with anything?
No, man. I hear. Listen. At the end of the day, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I don't F with people unless I feel like they their heart is in the right place. And listen, we're all here to make money. Like it's not a secret. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. I do this for the love of the people. Me too. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. We're all trying, we're all here to make money as well. And that's okay that that's a part of the equation.
Absolutely.
And so, I love what you're doing. And I think that your heart's in the right place. And I think the financial side of it is just going to happen for you. If nothing else because of the voice. You might just do it because of the voice.
Right.
But no, I'm kidding. But I guess I would say, if you are in the car business and you're going through a tough time, stick with it. It's a great business, man. It can allow a very high level of income and a very rewarding career. Forget people. Don't listen to people. Oh, you're a car salesman. Forget it. Stop it. You know what I mean? And just be a good human. Treat people great. If you're, a consumer out there, find yourself a good car salesman. They're out there.
Absolutely.
You can leave a transaction feeling satisfied and fairly treated if you wait and find the good sales. Most people go dealership to dealership, but what they should be doing is going dealership to dealership trying to find the right sales guy. Not necessarily the right deal. Because you passed over $20 a month, you passed on a deal down the street and left and went somewhere else. But that guy was going to give you great service for the next however many years. And
that was one of my closes. We had a lot of I shouldn't say a lot of competition. We had 2 other Volkswagen dealerships. And there was one that always had the cheapest prices. Every brand has them in every big city. And I'm like, you know what? That car you pulled up in, where'd you buy it at? Then they would say the dealership. Did that person ever call you back? No. Did they ever send you a Christmas card? No. A birthday card? No. That's where I'm different. Am I worth the extra $1,000? Absolutely. And I'd sell myself in so many times. It didn't work every time.
Yeah.
It was a close and it worked.
Yeah.
Sell yourself and provide amazing service.
Well, it's a close, like we call it, but it's something that in real life means something. I mean, like you're saying, we call it a close, and that's where teaching sales training like you're doing, but there's actually a genuine feeling behind it. Like, no, listen, I know my payment is $19 higher than the guy down the street, but I promise you, for the next 5 years or whatever, you are going to be glad that you did business with me. You know what I mean? And if we can teach people how to tell people that and convey it in a way that doesn't sound goofy, which I think which is what you're trying to do, that's great, because that's what I would tell consumers. Find the right salesperson. It's not always about the deal.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an hour and 41
Nah,
minutes.
dude, I rattle. I'm sorry. I'm off today. I got, you know what I mean? So I'm in social mode.
Well, thank you so much. And you have my cell phone number.
Yeah.
If you ever need me, please reach out. If I'm in Cleveland, which I've been there only a few times in my life, I will most definitely reach out to you.
Don't ever come to Cleveland. It's terrible here.
Isn't that where they filmed A Christmas Story?
It is, yes. About 20 minutes from here.
I'd like to see that house one day, because I know my sister and brother-in-law went there a few years ago, and they said it was pretty cool just to see. That's my favorite Christmas story.
Yeah.
Christmas movie,
Cleveland, I mean, I say that in jest. Cleveland's, it has amazing people. They're all very salt of the earth, hardworking, kind of a grind mentality. You know what I mean? So Cleveland, I'm blessed to grow up in Cleveland, but a couple more years and I will be in the sun for sure.
Well, thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
and
you
wish
too.
you the best.
You too.
This month.
We'll stay in touch, brother.
Thank you, sir.
I'll talk to you.